All right, welcome in to the virtual info session for the South Africa Exotic Animal Welfare and Behavior Program. My name is Ryan Vonderhaar. I work here within the College of Food, Agricultural, and Environmental Sciences as our Global Education Coordinator, which means I get to work with the terrific faculty and staff that we have here in the college to put together these education abroad programs. And joining me today is Dr. Kelly George. Dr. George is going to be talking kind of about the content and the curriculum right around the program and what it's going to look like here at the beginning of the info session. And then after we wrap up with that, I'm going to kind of cover the international affairs side and what the application process looks like, where you can find the information that you need and that you and the stakeholders in your life may need in order to make a decision for a program like this. But we're going to start with the fun stuff. So, Dr. George, I'll let you take it from here, and I'll get my screen shared here so we can get started.
Sure. Great. Yeah. So hello, everyone. So I'm Dr. Kelly George. I'm an associate professor, professional practice in the Department of Animal Sciences. And I have been a part of this program actually from the very beginning, which is pretty cool because this absolutely aligns with my research interests as well. So this is an area that I do a lot of teaching and research in and thinking about conservation of wild animals and the welfare of wild animals and therefore the behavior of wild animals. So our class that is the actual study abroad, global education course is the focus, or the title of that is actually exotic animal behavior and welfare. So the accompanying course that goes along with that, or the co-rec, if you will, is the Southern African Animals course, which is taught in the spring semester. So for any of you who are interested in applying ultimately to this program, or even if you aren't sure that you're going to apply, or maybe you know you're not going to apply, but you're still interested in some of that content, I would highly encourage you to enroll in the spring semester course. It has no prereqs to it, even though it's a 5,000 level course. It's an Animal Science 5400, that's the course number. And again, it's called Southern African Animals. So if you're hoping to apply to this program for either summer of 2022 or the future, depending on where you are in your academic program, you will have to have that course, the one I just mentioned, the Southern African Animals course, on your degree audit. So please make sure that, again, if you have the interest in the education, the global education course, that you make sure that you are also enrolled in the domestic course that's the co-rec. Of course, even if, as I said, even if you're not planning to apply, but you're still interested in this sort of content, then you can take that course. You don't have to travel to take that course. Okay, so if you are traveling, you have to take the course. That's kind of how that works. But what we're here to talk about then is what happens for the Education Abroad course. And that, as I said, is titled Exotic Animal Behavior and Welfare. Exotic because obviously these are not native animals for here in Ohio, so exotic to us, but certainly native wildlife for those in South Africa, which is where this course travels. So we basically join up with our guides. We have private guides that are specifically for our group. We join with them, and they will help us as we explore the content of exotic animal behavior and welfare in many different contexts as we explore South Africa. Now, we won't obviously explore the whole country of South Africa because it is rather vast. But at least we will have some good points of interest. The first one, I'm not sure, is on this page. Ryan, if I could ask you to flip to the next page, maybe. Yeah, so this is just giving you an idea of what our itinerary would look like. The gentleman that's in the back of that photo is Andrew Ray. So that is Andrew of Ray Safaris, who is the guide for this course. The person in the front, you may recognize also, that's actually Dr. Peter Neville. He just so happens to be in the photo here. So for those of you that are in animal sciences, you may recognize him. He was an adjunct professor in our department. But anyways, so this just gives you an example of what we will try to accomplish there, because we certainly have learning objectives to accomplish while we're there. It is an academic course. It's a graded course. And so therefore, we need to make sure that we are achieving, what we set out to do as far as learning objectives. So the first thing that I think is pretty cool is we kind of set the stage by going to, as you see there, an area called the Cradle of Humankind. And we get to explore with the guide one of the caves that is there, which is actually where they found the fossil of Littlefoot. So if you don't know it, you should go out and look it up. But basically, this is the area where we see some of the oldest, I guess I will say, fossil records. Of course, Lucy was in Ethiopia, but we see some of the earliest fossil records of humankind in this particular area of South Africa, which is very cool for us to explore and kind of start our exploration at that point, because not only then thinking about how humankind has affected animals, but how animals have also affected us in that particular area. So we start there, and then we will move into a wildlife center, which is where we will be able to work with some wildlife managers. And this is actually where this photo is from, and that's why Andrew included this photo. The photo is actually where there are many health checks and thinking about welfare. They will actually dart rhinos. It's a white rhino facility. So they will actually dart the white rhinos. We will actually be able to be a part of that kind of hands-on experience. Once the animal is down and safe, we would be able to do similar, not just pose for a photo as these two did, but to actually work with the people doing the health checks and understanding what it is that they're doing as part of the management strategy and conservation of these animals. So that's kind of the first area that we explore. And then Ryan, if I can ask you to move to the next slide for me, please. The next areas that we go to is we take a bit of a lengthy drive as it's listed there, and we go down to the Lowveld, where we will see start to see some of the, I guess I would say more of the areas for the big five. So the big five are African lions, African elephants, the leopard, the rhino, as well as the Cape buffalo. That's what we mean when we say big five. So you'll see that listed a couple times. But basically, we will have opportunity to go to Moholoholo, which is in that area of Hoedspruit, and we will work with the group there that has, as it's stated here, the finest wildlife rehabilitation center in Africa. And I would wholeheartedly agree with that. Now, that does not mean it's elaborate, okay? So we have to remember that, so when we think about rehabilitation facilities, we're not talking about the brand new vet hospital like we have here at Ohio State, right? But what the work that they do there is quite extraordinary. And so we'll be able to work with them and have some opportunities to explore some of the area, including some game drives and even, again, some behind the scenes types of opportunities. From there, we will actually move in to an area, a private reserve that is near or adjacent to Kruger Park. Why that's important for us to talk about that is because there are actually no fences between this privately owned space, which is kind of like a buffer zone, if you will, between that and the national park. And so that means that many animals, especially herd type animals, can actually be migrating through both spaces. So it's very possible that you will see, some of the animals that you would actually see in Kruger Park, but also in these adjacent parks or these private reserves. The other interesting thing about those private reserves is, of course, some of these species are territorial. So we will have territories within those private areas as well, which is another reason to keep the fences down, right? We need to make sure that we have space for these animals. And so it's a pretty cool place to go. We'll be able to have, again, guided tours of both driving and walking. And we'll get to, while we're there in that Hoedspruit area, which is this area that we're talking about. By the way, Hoedspruit, if you don't know, is a city in South Africa. We'll visit the Endangered Species Center there. We also have a really cool opportunity to visit a cultural village. And the cultural village is an opportunity for us to engage with members of different cultural groups that have actually come together to put on, I guess I will say, a presentation for us, if you will, through dance and through music, and to explore cultures and recognizing the multiple cultures that are represented in the different communities within South Africa, and kind of telling their history, right? Letting us understand, you know, some of the challenges they had as they migrated from the north, and Europeans were migrating up from the south, and some of those challenges amongst the different collections of peoples that were commingling at that point. So I think it gives us great opportunity to have some better understanding of the culture now of South Africa. And so, yeah, so that's a really exciting piece of it. So we can move on. Okay, and then we do get to go into Kruger, and we spend quite a bit of time in Kruger National Park, of course, being South Africa's kind of premier national park. And within the national parks, we have, of course, the opportunity. We're very lucky that Andrew Ray has a lot of connections within the national park system. And so we will have an opportunity to meet with wildlife managers, again, in the park system, as well as researchers. There's some really very, very interesting work that's happening with the wild dogs, which is kind of a, I guess I'll say, a species that is certainly at the heart of Andrew's work. And now I even have developed quite a love for these animals, extremely endangered. Behind the Ethiopian wolf, it's one of the most endangered canids that are on the African planet. And they need our help, right? So we're going to probably talk quite a bit about these particular animals and the research going on with them. Will we see them in Kruger? I've seen them once. I've been there more than a dozen times. I've seen them once. Okay, so the answer is maybe not, but we're certainly going to look for them. Okay, and we'll again talk about some of those things. So we'll spend lots of times in Kruger and having lots of opportunities there. And then I think we finalize, like we finish up. I think that's the next slide. Yep. We finish up in an area called Blythe River Canyon. If I'm not mistaken, it's the third largest canyon in the world. And it's a beautiful canyon, as you can see there from the photo. Along with that space where you can kind of look out and see the canyon and so forth, there's some different areas in that region that have different waterfalls. There's also some very nice little local markets where you can purchase things like wood carvings and beaded things and cloths and all kinds of locally made items. So we kind of keep this towards the end because the expectation is you're probably going to buy something to bring home with you. And we don't want you to have to kind of have that along with you along the way. Because this will happen right before we're ready to actually fly back to Johannesburg. Because as I said, it's kind of a lengthy journey from our original destination down to the Hoedspruit and Kruger area. But then we'll take a short flight back up instead of taking the longer drive up, because we will have then a longer flight, obviously, to get on our return. And then we make it home. So that's kind of the goal. Yeah, there's some things there about what you can expect to pack, those sorts of things. And of course, we will talk about all of those kinds of things once we know for sure that we're headed that way. The other thing to like us to mention is that, which I didn't really spend much time talking about, but how we achieve some of our learning objectives is, again, meeting with many different people. We have evening opportunities to discuss amongst ourselves as far as a group. We'll do some exploration in reading from research materials. We'll also have plenty of time to actually just sit and observe animals. When we think about understanding animals and the way they behave in their natural setting, we have to spend time just watching them. So that's partly what we do as well. So with that, unless there's a question for me specifically, I'm going to turn it over to Ryan, and we'll talk through the rest.
Great. And yeah, we definitely will have time at the end for questions. If anybody, feel free to throw them in the chat if you're going to forget, or if not, you can wait till the end and come off mute. And we'll be happy to answer any questions here at the end. I'm going to share my screen again here as I'm getting my desktop in order. And I always like to do this. I start from Google so that everybody always knows how to find the information that you need, obviously. So first, we're just going to type in global, and this is Ryan's, spelling quickly on the go test here, Global Education, Ohio State. And that's going to be the first link that pops up, is that globaleducation.osu.edu. That's going to be kind of your homepage for really any of the information you're going to need here going forward if you're interested in the program. But we'll pull up this homepage, and I like to reference this. This picture was actually taken on another one of our programs offered here within the college. So just pretty amazing, the different places that different opportunities that we hope to provide here for you. You all as students. But if you click down here on search programs, it'll bring up this page for simple search. And for this program, we're just going to type in South Africa. And it's not nearly as forgiving if you misspell, but luckily I did get that one correct. Here lower on this page, you'll see South Africa, Exotic Animal Behavior and Welfare. We'll click on that. And this is called, we refer to this for a few different ways, the program brochure, the program web page. Really, but this is where all of the vital information you will need is kind of housed when it comes to program specific info. So if you scroll on down here, there's kind of a general description of the program, and it goes through some of the learning objectives, which Dr. George has touched on already in today's presentation. One thing I'd like to point out is there are a handful of pictures throughout this webpage. All of these photos were taken on previous iterations of this program. So you can literally see, the amazing experiences, right, that students are having up close and personal, with the different wildlife that you'll be interacting with in South Africa. But if you scroll down this page, obviously you'll see Dr. George listed here and her contact info if you need to send an email to her, and same thing for me if you ever have any questions. But scroll down this page to the bottom and you'll see the dates and deadlines for this upcoming summer 2022 program. So some of the most important questions, right? When is the program traveling? Well, here's your answer for that. Your start and end dates of the program, and that is counting that will be accurate / is accurate as far as including the travel dates. So getting on the actual airplane and getting off of the actual airplane for when you are visiting South Africa. The other important piece of this is the application deadline, which is currently January 5th. I will say that it's best if you are interested at all in the program, it's best to start an application as early as you can. Number one, because you can save the application as you go. But number two, there's no commitment to applying until you actually submit your application. So we will have students that start, a couple applications to programs that they're interested in, and just by that application deadline, you need to decide, yeah, I am gonna, officially submit this application. But the benefit of you starting one is that it flags you in our system that, hey, I'm a student interested in this program. Please, keep me informed with information as it comes available. And some of that info I'm going to talk about here in a second, as far as the pieces that we're still finalizing for the 2022 program. So if you scroll kind of back up here to the top, you'll see a list here of options on the program webpage, and we'll just click through all of them so that everybody can hear a little bit of a description of what we're looking at. So Dr. George already talked about it. The pre-departure, or the prerequisite, I should call it, course for this program is offered both in the fall and the spring here on campus. It's $5,400. I did update that from our last info session. So if you're interested
But
in the program,
I'm sorry, I need to interrupt. It's only the spring. It's
so I
only
do
the
need to
spring.
update it again.
So what was confusing
Yeah.
probably is, okay, we originally offered the prereq in 2 forms.
Okay.
2 7-week classes. One was in the autumn, one was in the spring. And they had the 0.01 and 0.02 behind them. We combined them now, starting this year, it's the first year,
Got it.
into one full semester course, which is just the 5,400. It's only in the spring.
Only in the spring, just the
Yeah,
5,400.
so I apologize.
No.
I probably did not communicate that well, Ryan. Thank you.
No. That is all good, and I will update that after today's info session. But you can see it here. And for those of you, who are listening to this and on the call, the benefit of that is, right, well, the spring semester is still in front of us for the summer 2022 program. So if you need to have this prerequisite, obviously, I would encourage you to meet with your academic advisor and see how that fits into your degree plan. Dr. George also already talked about it. There are 3 credit hours associated with the actual travel, education abroad portion over the summer. And you can see that up here on top of there. If you click over to the eligibility tab, there's just a few kind of general statements that are pretty consistent with any education abroad program that you would look at here through Ohio State. You need to meet, and you can kind of click on this link to follow each of those eligibility requirements to see if you have any questions about anything. There's a minimum cumulative GPA that we take into account when you apply. And also you need to be in good academic standing with the Student Code of Conduct office. So just a few things to keep in mind there. Also passports. If you don't have a passport, I would completely encourage you to apply absolutely as soon as possible. Turnaround times for passport processing is really as long as maybe as long as it's been, right? In recent memory, they're looking at 12 to 16 weeks right now as a turnaround time. So I would encourage you to apply as soon as possible if you don't have your passport. If you have questions on applying, please reach out to our office. I'd be happy to walk with you step by step through what that process looks like. And this is probably everybody's, the most important tab, right, when it comes to thinking about this program and if it's something that you're interested in, which is the financial aspect. If pretty much all of the info on this sheet is outdated back to the year of 2020, and I'm going to talk through what a lot of these items mean so that you understand them. And also this kind of reinforces that point about starting an application so that when the 2022 program fee is published and we have the final information on that, I can send you an email as soon as it's available so that you have that information as soon as possible to help you make your decision. So just starting here at the top, you'll see kind of, I like to call this, right, the magic words, the program fee. So what is that? It is the idea of, I want to go on an education abroad program. How, what am I actually paying for? Well, that's looped into the official program fee. That fee is billed through the bursar's office and essentially acts the same as tuition. Okay, so just like how you pay your spring tuition or your fall tuition and conventional semesters, that program fee will be billed into the summer tuition, along with the tuition that you would pay for the 3 credit hours associated with the program. So, right, what's included in that fee? Terrific question. We list it in this first paragraph here. The program fee will include, and this is outdated as to 2020 because all program meals for the 2022 program are going to be included and looped into that. The biggest difference you're going to see in the 2022 fee is that we are building in your international airfare. So I'm going to talk about that a little bit more here as I go through. So this is the budget sheet for the program. It's kind of a way that you can get a snapshot of, like, not only the travel component, right? But if I zoom out and think of everything that goes into participating in an education abroad program, the idea behind this is kind of trying to make you aware of the other expenses that could occur while participating in one of our programs. So I'll just start at the top and kind of work through these and give you some descriptions. Ohio State tuition and partial fees, just like what it sounds, okay? You're going to pay those 3 credit hours for the summer tuition. This is kind of a general estimate for in-state versus out-of-state for those 3 credit hours. Education abroad program fee for the 2022 program. That's going to include all of the travel in country, all of the meals that are provided, all of the visits to the amazing facilities, obviously, that Dr. George already talked about today. The guides that are going to be obviously with you and keeping you safe there on the program. All of that is looped in to this program fee, with the addition of your airfare and transportation for 2022. So, back the last time we offered this program, airfare would be out of pocket, which is kind of the words we use to describe that. So like, I paid for the program fee, but I still have to get to South Africa, which means you needed to book a flight, use just like you would book a flight on your own, a credit card or a debit card, purchasing it through an airline. For 2022, we've looped that airfare or your international airfare into the program fee. So the benefit of that to you is, well, number one, if you have financial aid or scholarships, you can apply them to that program fee. So if it's a separate cost and you're paying out of pocket, you can't use scholarships, right, to pay Southwest Airlines to book to book a flight. But because it's looped into the program fee, you are able to apply your financial aid and your scholarships in most cases to help subsidize that cost. Your international health insurance, that's also included in the program fee, which is why this says 0 here. So if you get sick or injured while we're abroad, we're able to work with you to help find a healthcare provider in country to make sure that you are taken care of while abroad. This is the Ohio State Education Abroad application fee. It's $150. That is something that you'll pay with a credit or debit card on your own when you apply. So I talked about that before. It's official, after you've started an application, it's official that you've applied once you've submitted an application that you've started. And part of submitting an application is paying that $150 fee. So it's the reason I always encourage folks, if you know you're going to apply, I would encourage you not to wait until the application deadline, because we do have cases from time to time with folks who have some trouble getting that application fee to be paid. A lot of times it's a little finicky. You have to have, your billing address has to match exactly, and is cap sensitive when that fee goes through. So would encourage you to apply before midnight of the deadline, right? Minutes leading up to it. Now, if that is the case and you have issues while trying to submit your application, please send me an email. I'll always work with you to help make sure that you get the application submitted. So rolling down here into the non-billable expenses is how we describe it, which essentially just means stuff that you might need to pay for, right, on your own as you're thinking about this program. So room, that's going to be 0. All of our accommodations are included in the program fee. Board, the last time the program ran, I should always say this, if you've heard that phrase room and board before, board means food, okay? So think of like the food that you need to buy for yourself while you're on the program. But once again, like I already said, for 2022, this will be 0 or maybe $15 or $30, depending on, if you want to have snacks on your own or, extra meals while you're at the airport to and from. But this is going to be significantly lower for 2022. Books and supplies, there's not a textbook currently associated with the summer travel of the program. Airfare and transportation, like I already talked about, this will be 0 for 2022. Miscellaneous education abroad personal expenses, always get a question on this, right? Random $170. That is just a general estimate that we use. It's based on $10 a day in case you are interested in having an international cell phone plan while you're abroad. That's kind of the general estimate we use. That's pretty consistent with most large carriers in the US. So if you want to have a cell phone plan to be able to use your cell phone, without Wi-Fi while you're abroad, that's kind of an estimate for that. And then I kind of talk about these together most of the time: immunizations and international travel consultation. These two pieces, those are, are there any immunizations, is there any medicine that a primary care physician or an international travel health expert would recommend you getting for the program? So Dr. George and I, we don't make those recommendations for you and your health choices, but we definitely encourage you to either meet with your primary care physician or at an international health clinic to see what they would recommend for your travel while abroad. And then, just like I talked about before, an estimate for a passport. If you already have your passport, this can also be zero while you're looking at estimates on this sheet. If you don't have your passport, please apply as soon as you can. And if you have questions on that, once again, please feel free to reach out. The other piece I always mention on this page, everybody always wants to hear about scholarship opportunities, right? What are ways I can do to help, help fund this program? The best place to start always is filling out, if you are a CFAES student, I use that asterisk, is filling out your CFAES general scholarship application. Every year when we have students going abroad, the college gives out about $100,000 in education abroad specific scholarships. And the only way we can give you that money is if you have this scholarship application on file. So if you're applying for this program, 1,000% would recommend, you make sure that you get not only your program application in, but follow this link and fill out your CFAES general scholarship application so that we can make sure that that money is available to you. Other than that, for funding opportunities, we have a couple other links on this page. Would encourage you to research them on your own. And I always say, if students, if you're just ready to fill out education abroad scholarship applications because you just want to fund your program, please send me an email, because I've got a couple lists of general education abroad scholarship applications I'd be happy to forward to you. So reach out to me, reach out to our office, and we'd be happy to connect you with any opportunities that are available. This is one I always like to talk about here, OIA's cancellation policy, right? We're living in this new world, or this changing world, however you'd like to describe it right now. And a lot of folks are concerned, right? What happens if this program gets canceled? We're planning travel to South Africa, but the world is as tentative, or as asterisk as it's ever been right now, right? So what happens if the program does get canceled? So there's kind of two general situations I like to describe so that everybody can get on the same page, right? So one is we get approved, you apply for the program, you get accepted, we're all happy and jolly. We're rolling along. We get into the middle of April, okay? And for whatever reason, the world changes for the worse, and it's not going to be safe to send you abroad at all, or abroad to South Africa, or whatever the situation is. It's no longer feasible for the program to run. If Ohio State makes the decision to cancel the program, you will not be on the hook financially for those expenses, for the program fee that I talked about before, or anything like that. So as far as, if you are thinking, well, I'd like to apply, but if the program gets canceled, I don't want to be worried about those expenses. You don't need to be worried about them. And that's partially the reason that we added the group flight into the program fee for summer 2022, which is, you won't have to worry about your random flight to South Africa if the program gets canceled, and now they're trying to offer you, the airline, is trying to offer you a voucher instead of a refund. No, Ohio State is taking that on. And if the program gets canceled, once again, you're not going to be on hold for the finances associated with it. So that, I hope that you take that as a little bit of peace of mind here going forward, thinking if you're, on the edge for applying. Now, the other situation, right, is we get the green light. South Africa looks great. We're moving forward with the program traveling, and we get to, early June, and you decide individually, I'm no longer interested, or something's come up and I'm not able to go, or, I'm no longer comfortable, right, with traveling. There, you are able to withdraw at any point, in the program planning process. Now, the situation for you making the individual decision to withdraw is obviously different than Ohio State deeming the program unsafe to travel. And with that, you just scroll down on this cancellation page, and you would see timing of withdrawal prior to program start date. Okay. You would just work back from the program's travel date. And essentially it's a pretty easy math equation, right? It's how far out we are, depends on how much of that program fee, the percentage of that program fee you would owe. And we got a chat here. Can you speak up a little? I apologize. I'm having trouble hearing. Dr. George, are you hearing me okay? Maybe I'm not.
I'm hearing you okay, but,
Okay.
you
Okay.
know, maybe not
Sorry.
everyone.
Okay. Sorry about that. Braden, I will speak up, but I'm really, that was one of the last pieces I had here, Dr. George, unless do you have anything else? And Braden also, if you have any other questions, happy to, answer anything you've got.
Yeah, I think probably the only other thing that we should make sure that we're clear on, since for Braden, but also for anyone who ends up listening to this this program info session, is that as of right now, our goal is obviously to offer the program, and so in order to do that, we have to start the process. In order for us to start the process, we need to invite and encourage students to apply. And we know that things might change between now and then. Now, as Ryan was saying, there's lots of decisions that go into play to make sure that students are safe. It's always the number one priority of the university. And so it is very possible that we'll go through this process and have the university decide that maybe it's not in the best interest of students to travel to South Africa. They have a very complicated, if you will, way of looking at all of that. I mean, emotionally, obviously, we all want to go. We all want to make this happen. And certainly, myself included, and Ryan as well, we want to see this program go. However, it is possible that the university will come back and say, even after we've been accepted, even after we've gone through the application process, interviews, got an acceptance, that it is possible that that OSU will make the decision that we are not able to run the summer program. They do not make that decision until mid-February. Is that right, Ryan?
Right at the beginning of February.
Okay, right at the beginning of February.
Yep.
Now, obviously, if your application is due January 5th, and then we make a decision by January 19th, they could come back early February and decide, even at that point, that we are not able to run the program. And even though that would be extremely disappointing, we would have to abide by that. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because I don't want you, however, to not apply because of that potential. Okay. And I say that because, number one, if we don't put ourselves out there, then the answer is obviously you're not going to go, right? Because that's why we're putting ourselves out there as myself as a faculty leader, and Ryan as trying to organize all of this for students to have the opportunity, right? So we have to at least try, right? In order for us to try, we need to have students who are also willing to try with us. And so that means, again, it could mean that we're disappointed, but boy, won't you be upset if it does run and you were hesitant to apply just because it could be canceled, right? As Ryan said, we live in a very, unpredictable world right now, where, it's very much a concern globally, as far as vaccination numbers, as far as hospital numbers, and I mean, there's just so many things that are as a part of this decision process that's done, again, through this entire risk management area. It's not done by Ryan and me. It's done by people who are experts in looking at risk for students in particular. So I just want to be very transparent about that, in the sense that, we had the decision to either try and run the program or not to try and run the program, to basically pull the plug. we made the decision as a department and as a college that we wanted to at least try. Okay, because again, if you don't try, then the answer is automatically no, right? But we are asking you to, kind of do that with us, to try with us. And so again, I mean, I know that, you get emotionally invested by applying and getting accepted and all of those things. And so there is the potential for the disappointment, but again, if we don't try, then the answer is already in front of you, right? The answer is already no. So I hope that I can at least leave that for all of you to think about, that, as Ryan said, if that does happen, there's no financial issue for you. And so with that, it's kind of from a student perspective, then the benefit would definitely outweigh the risk, right? Because the benefit would be that if you're accepted to the program and the program runs, that you get to actually participate in the program. The risk is you might be disappointed, but there's at least no financial risk. Even your application fee, that 100, correct me if I'm wrong here, Ryan, but the $150, if it's canceled by the university,
Also refunded.
you even get that back, right? So there's literally zero cost to you ultimately if it gets canceled by the university. And it changes if you make the decision yourself after you've been accepted, and Ryan's explained that. But I just want to, I guess, throw that out there to encourage people. The worst thing that can happen is eventually somebody decides that we don't get to go. The best thing that can happen is you've applied, you've been successful through the application process, and we get to go. So, that's what I'll leave it as. Okay, Ryan.
No, I think that's a perfect way to definitely wrap this up. So Braden, if you have any other questions, or anybody, obviously happy to answer anything else, but if not, that's kind of the end of the presentation. So happy to answer anything if you've got anything.
I don't see anything.
Okay.
So I think we're good. So again, thank you. Thank you for listening to this.
Oh, we got one.
Oh, there is a question. Will we be doing any hands-on interactions? The answer is maybe. And I say that because once again, things right now, I would say, will you have the possibility maybe in the rehab center, maybe in the Rhino situation that I was describing? There might even be potentially in some other scenarios. But a lot of it will be observational, but sometimes those observations are closer than you think. It just kind of depends. Again, at that point, that's kind of between the animal to make the decision if it's coming close or not. And sometimes, certainly you would never be ever be encouraged to reach out and try to touch an animal, because these are wild animals, even those in the rehab center, and even those in any sanctuary that we're going to and so forth, unless it is advised by the management there, that we are truly having an interaction at this point. I mean, we've had students who have fed kind of orphan small animals, bottles and different things, so I can't tell you exactly what you may or may not be able to do, because some of it is just, it depends on the timing of things. So I know that's not the best answer for you, Braden, but that's the best I can give you. Any other questions for me or for us?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay. Great. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. Obviously, this recording is going to be available on the program webpage, so please share it if you have friends, obviously, that are interested in the program or anything like that. And once again, Dr. George and I are more than willing to meet with any students that want to discuss the program further or have any other questions. So please reach out. But thank you all.